So moved.
Have a motion, is there a
Second.
second? Have a second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed, motion carries. Chairman, I don't have a report. General Manager?
Okay, I've got the tonnage reports in the folders. First thing there, we'll look at those first. That monthly tonnage and daily average report. Had a little over 14,000 tons.
Larry used to give us years before 2020. What happened?
What's that?
So this only goes back to 2020. Used to give us the years before that.
Previous sheet's missing.
Oh, there was another sheet in there.
Let's see.
It must have messed up when it copied earlier.
No big deal.
But yeah, that's the last 3 years anyway.
Yeah.
I had all the way back 10 more years there, but
I love that daily total every time.
yeah. See, we had a little over 14,000 tons for the month of September there. A little over 1,100 more than the same month last year, continuing to trend pretty high tonnage wise coming in. Must have skipped that page somehow or the other. Well, it didn't print it, I don't know. Anyway, if you want to look at it, Jamie, here's one.
It's just good to have it every month.
Okay, I'm sorry. You see the breakdowns there on the product sales summary reports, or the next two in there. What went to the floor, the pit we call it, tires, wood, tire loads out for the month, trash out for the month. See what those numbers, how they compare to last year as well. The next reports in there, the major customer sales reports. Looking at those earlier today, there's not a whole lot of difference in those for the most part. Volunteer recycling is up from last year. Republic Services bumped up a couple hundred tons. Waste is down a little bit, but there's a pretty big jump over in that miscellaneous side for the month of September. If you'll remember, well, we didn't meet last month, we were here, but we didn't have a quorum, so we didn't stay long. But I think the month before last, I mentioned that the Southern Services C&D landfill down off Valley Parkway was going to cut out third-party disposal down there September the 1st. So we've seen a little bit of uptick on our tonnage from that as well. Also over at Rockwood Recycling, Rockwood Sustainable Systems, a transfer station over in Wilson County. He's having some issues over there keeping his tonnage moved out of his little transfer station there. So they were down for a week, I think week before last, I believe it was, or maybe 2 weeks ago. So we got a bump up in tonnage from that as well. I ran a report before I left a while ago. We'd gotten in 550 tons today so far. The monthly total we're right at to date through when I ran this report around 7,000 tons. So it looks like we're working toward another 13 to 14,000 ton a month for October as well. The next sheet in there is the breakdown on the county tonnage from where we've tried to identify where the tonnage is coming from month to month. Kind of see the breakdown on there from the different counties. Again, like it has been for the last several months since we've been trying to track this, the biggest tonnages other than Sumner are from Davidson and Wilson for the most part. So it's interesting to see where people say they're bringing some of this stuff from when they show up there. It's got to be contractors, people moving or something. I know I saw one on that report from Lawrence County, which is unusual.
It's still less, it still runs around 10% every month, doesn't it?
Yeah, somewhere thereabouts. Of course, you can see there, the biggest, amount of tonnage is from Sumner, so. The next sheet is the price sheet for the load haul dispose, updated for September. We dropped 4 cents from last month, down to around, well, it was 41.89 for September. That's the landfill disposal price plus the hauling price and the fuel adjustment figured into that for the month of September.
Still from the Midwest.
I've looked at that from time to time. It's not, actually, last time I looked at it, that Midwest price was less than, forget what the next one closest would be, Mid-Atlantic, not Mid-Atlantic, but kind of the middle part of the country. I can't remember how they designate it, but it was actually cheaper than that price was. Next sheet is the breakdown on the drop-off recycling there at the transfer station. You see the loads we've hauled fiscal year to date. Got quite a few loads in September. Will note commodity prices are starting to fall pretty good again. I look back in August, those tonnages that you see that we got paid for in August, the OCC, which is the one that we get the most money for, was $95 a ton. In September, the price has dropped down to $50 a ton. So the cardboard is, and I've been seeing some blurbs on some emails from waste publications and things like that, that commodities prices are really dropping right now. Just to give you an idea on the other things we show there, the OCC, or the plastic, we pay $10 a ton to take plastic for recycling, plus the fuel and environmental fee that they charge us at the MRF down there in Nashville. And the glass, they charge us $45 a ton plus the fuel and environmental fee to dump glass down there as well for recycling. So just to kind of give you an idea of what we're getting or having to pay on the drop-off recycling side there. The next sheet is the miscellaneous recycling, shows the scrap metal. We have hauled a load of cans out. We hadn't got paid for them, so that's the reason it doesn't show up on there. Aluminum cans, and a load of batteries as well, but we haven't got paid for those either, so we haven't got that on there either. So another pretty good month on scrap metal sales for September. Kind of slacked off a little bit there and wasn't getting as much in, but starting to pick back up now some. So
Is that price or quantity that you're seeing the increase?
quantity. I don't think the price has changed all that much. The next sheet is the alternative energy on the spreadsheet for the brush grinding, showing a little bit of deficit year to date there. And the reason for that, if you remember, I mentioned when we started the new fiscal year, we had a pretty good backlog of material on the ground at all the sites that didn't get ground before the end of the year. So we've got all that caught up now, so it puts us behind a little bit revenue-wise for the time being. That should catch back up. The last tonnage sheet, or recycling sheet, whatever you want to call it, and there's the on-site manifested tires. Right at 5,200 tires Manifested Tires came into the transfer station in September. Biggest jump there was in Wade's Automotive. He hadn't been there in a while. And I guess he's been stockpiling them up there at his place, and all of a sudden he started hauling load after load in there. You see how many he brought in. So, he don't come on a regular basis, but he hauled quite a few in when he did come. I included August financial statement in there as well as September's. Those were in the emails that went out. Since we didn't talk about those last month or talk about August last month, but if anybody's got any questions about any of those, still doing pretty good year-to-date on revenue versus expenses. Year-to-date, we're a little over $500,000 there. One thing I will note there, got an email from County Finance Department end of the week, last week, and our next bond payment's coming up to be made by the 1st of November. It's a little less than $610,000.
Okay.
So just make everybody aware of that. A couple other things I'll note. Does anybody got any questions on those tonnage reports or financials? One other thing I'll note, that we've been talking for several months now about the new compactor trailers and the compactor install there. We finally got that compactor in the end of the week, last week. They installed it over the weekend, so we're hauling with the compactor trailers now. It's a whole lot cleaner operation. They're still, getting used to, getting the trailers in and out like they need to be and that kind of thing, but went pretty smooth today from what I could tell.
Yeah, help me understand, is that, used to we had the ran up the ramp, dropped them over in the trailer. Now, we just drop them in a compactor and it pushes it in.
Yeah. Still, they built a new ramp extension on the end of our existing ramp with concrete sidewalls on it. So they still go up a ramp to load the compactor. Of course, they're only using one spot to load it in because it pushes in the trailer. But the compactor itself's got a big hood over the top of it to keep debris from blowing out everywhere. So you don't get all that mess around the back of the sides of the trailers. Plus, when you get them out, you close the door and there's nothing that's going to be blowing around outside or down the road either. So it
Has that made a problem on the other end of unloading?
No, it's the same unloading process. The other trailers, the open top trailers that we use, or they use, were tipper trailers, what they call tipper trailers. They're aluminum, so they back them onto the tipper, unhook from them. The tipper actually raises the trailer up and dumps it and lowers it back down. They hook back up to it and haul it away. Compactor trailers dump the same way. They're tipper trailers as well.
Now, are they wired bundled? No, in the compactor, when it comes out,
No,
it's just
it's
compacted and
compacted
pushed
in the tube. The trailer looks like a tube, totally enclosed, except
Okay.
for the back door.
Will that make everybody happy going up down the road?
It should,
Yeah.
so. I don't think I've got anything else right now on that part of
Okay.
what we're talking about.
Legal report, you have anything?
No report this,
Hmm?
no report this.
No report, all right. On to old business, discuss the progress on the final design and permitting for the new transfer station.
All right.
Ryan?
Which I'll jump back into legal with you a little bit.
Okay.
We reached out to Lori just on finalizing those easements for Stillwire.
Okay.
And I think she was working with Kevin. You might check in with Lori on those. I think we're ready to flip those out for signature. For the transfer station, we are aiming for 60% design completion by the end of October. That's going to give us the ability to continue with the permitting process. We'll have to get a stormwater pollution prevention permit, as well as an ARAP, which that's been ongoing. You guys kind of aware of us pursuing those permits for a while. The Corps has finally been responsive to the request for an on-site meeting. And then we have a permit by rule permit that we gained by through TDEC. And so, meaning that permit by rule is when you meet the requirements of the solid waste regulation for a transfer station permit. It's a pretty simple application. There's a fee that goes with it, and there's a lot of supporting documentation that gets submitted to TDEC's National Environmental Field Office. So those are permits that will pair on the backside of the 60% design. We're in the process of preparing those right now. You want to move on to the landfills?
So,
What'd you say?
You want to move to landfills, or any questions about
Any
transfer
questions
station?
on that? Anybody have any?
When do you expect to start turning some road?
We're hoping to be able to bid at the beginning of next year. That'll put you in good shape for next construction season. There'll be a period of shop drawings and approvals to get those guys on the ground, but I'm hoping mass grading can start as soon as the weather breaks next spring.
Good. All right. Anything in landfill?
We are at Caps Gap landfill sampling tomorrow for our October event, and Odom's Bend gets sampled in December. And back to Caps Gap, Hodges Group reached out, or we've been in discussion about finishing up their warranty items and punch list items, and so we'll be looking to get those done before the weather turns bad.
Good. Any questions on that? If not, moving on to health insurance.
We'll make this really short and sweet this month. A couple months ago, we talked about the possibility of trying to move some people off of the health insurance plan onto Medicare. Basically what we saw was, since you guys have under 20 employees, you kind of operate under different rules than a larger employer, so you can do that. Half of your group is Medicare eligible. We met with all of those employees. Everybody was interested. That's a good thing for you guys, because I think you were going to save a little over $400 a month per person who kind of went off, so it was about $40,000 total. After looking at it, I think maybe one of those people I would advise not to make the change. I think they'll actually be in a worse financial position, but the other 6 total, including their spouses, all make sense. So they're all interested. We didn't, kind of promise any numbers. We talked concept. So, I guess what we need from you guys is yay, we want to do this, and then how are we going to do the reimbursement? Like, what are we going to reimburse? When we looked, everyone, their total cost was going to range somewhere between $300 and about $325 a month. That's kind of their all-in cost. That's Medicare, that's their supplement, and that's their drug coverage. So you've got a couple ways that you can attack that. You can either go with an option to reimburse them. If you reimburse them, I think, and Larry was checking with your accountant, I think he still hadn't got an answer on that. Is that right, Larry?
I haven't yet, no.
Don't think there's going to be an impact to the employee tax-wise. The other option would be to change their pay to cover that cost. If you do that, then the employee would have a tax impact. So, if your accountant agrees, I think the best way to do it would be to actually reimburse the employee or, write the checks one way or the other. It's going to save you guys some money, and it's going to not impact the employee. So, basically, do we have the blessing to go ahead and move forward on that? And if so, what's the number you want us to give the employee?
What obligation do we have the employees at this point? What have they been told? What do they expect?
They haven't been told anything for sure, other than we presented the concept to see if, who was interested in doing that, because obviously we can't force anybody to do it, so.
We just kind of told them, this is an option, this might be a good thing for you. We don't know how the dollars are gonna work until after the next board.
Yeah, we haven't given really any numbers one way or the other, just to try to see if,
Yeah. What's the out-of-pocket differential for the employee?
Depends on what drugs they take. That's the hard part. Under the supplement, next year, they owe $226 deductible. That's all they would pay for all their medical. But the pharmacy is what can swing. So like, for instance, you've got one person who, based on what they take now, they're gonna pay about $700 a year in drugs, another's $1,000, another's $112. But then you got one person who's got like $3,000 worth of drugs. That's the person I would probably recommend they don't do this. Your health insurance is not impacted by claims or usage or anything, so who cares? That's better for that employee. So they're going to be better off through Medicare, out-of-pocket wise. And keep in mind, every person we move is going to decrease the renewal rates that we'll talk about in next month's meeting. You know, if all those people move off, I think your health insurance is looking at like 15–20% lower than current. So each person who stays on, that shrinks a little bit.
Does the number have to be enough to incentivize somebody to change over?
I think so, because I think if it wasn't a no-brainer, I think they would just stick on the group because they're comfortable.
But it should be high enough that we lose our savings.
Correct. Yeah, you're not going to lose the savings. I mean, when we looked at the numbers I gave you guys a couple months ago, I was estimating $350 per person, and that was still saving you $400 plus per person.
I mean, is that what you're recommending?
I mean, if you guys are good with $350, I think that would cover it. It would give them the incentive to move. So I think that's
And
that
still
number's
save
there.
us?
And $350 being the maximum, obviously, because
Yeah.
some people will come in under that number. It would still save you, $400 plus per month per person. So a couple, a husband and wife, that's $800 per. I think you're looking at $35,000 to $40,000 savings.
I don't see any downside.
Yeah. And honestly,
I
it's
guess-
good for the other employees because the rates will come down, so their share of the premium will also be lower. So everybody wins here, I think.
I guess the question is what we've talked about is what might be the tax implications of how we.
And that's what you're
administer
finding
that.
out,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so, I mean, but what does everybody think? Does everybody think 350? I mean, is that-
Yeah, 350.
Yeah.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
350, and if we can do it as a reimbursement that
Correct.
doesn't tax, we go that way.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
Do I need to hear a motion on that?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion on that?
We just gotta get the tax deal
Yeah.
worked out with Greg.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what he said. I think that's part of the motion.
Yeah, so part of your motion will be pending tax implications.
Okay.
If not, I guess he brings it back to us.
And we'll have to talk about the actual group renewal at your next meeting. It came in Friday. I haven't even seen it yet.
Okay.
Assume it's 20% higher.
I'm gonna guess about 10, because that's kind of where they all been. But, if we knock 20% off that, you're gonna be lower than you are today on the renewal. Now, Larry and I will get together with these people this month, then we'll know what the number is.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, new business, discuss the request from the Oak Grove Volunteer Fire Department.
Okay, you've got in your folders there, some information that was sent to us from, the county. The Oak Grove Volunteer Fire Department is requesting, they've got a existing fire department in Oak Grove on Blackie Bandy Road, next to where the old C&D landfill is up there. And this is Wayne Drown with the Oak Grove Volunteer Fire Department. And if I'm speaking out of turn here, there's something that's not right. speak up or feel free, or you can,
I'll move up if
yeah.
there's questions or if I can add something to it.
But this kind of gives, it's got some pictures in here, Google Map pictures, a drawing of, on one of the maps here of kind of what we're talking about. You see existing fire station here, and I think they've got an ambulance bay up there as well, don't they, Wayne?
Yeah, EMS has an ambulance there and uses one of the
That's what
bays,
I
and we
thought.
use the other two.
But they're talking about a little corner of the old landfill right next to where the fire department is now. Probably less than an acre of property, in order to try to acquire, ever how that works out, and build a new fire station there.
What, if I can add
Go
to, where we're at is, we have, right now, we have 5 trucks. Two of them that are response trucks, a tanker and a brush truck, stays outside. It's like tonight, we gotta go empty the water out of them. Keep them from getting damaged from freezing. So they're out of service. We're needing a building to put those 2 trucks in. And though, I mean, that's whether it's old or new trucks, but the old trucks that we have now are being replaced. We have a new brush truck we're getting outfitted right now. We have a grant for a new tanker, so it'll be sometime next year before we can get it manufactured. But this time next year, hopefully, we're gonna have $500,000 of trucks that are brand new, that's sitting outside, and part of the year, we have to take them out of service because we have to empty the water out of them. And we're trying to get the county to build us a heated building so that we can keep them in service year-round, and they'll be available for the residents of the county. And the best spot is where it's sited here, to not take too much land, use the apron that's on the current building to get in and out of, but allows us easy egress from the building and get on the road when we need them for a fire. Does that have any effect on the, like,
The landfill itself, no, I've looked at that, and if you'll look at this picture right here, you can see this area that's mowed right here. That's actually the space that has waste in it.
Okay. I mean,
So
Ryan, T-Deck's not gonna come back and say, y'all did this
I don't
5 years
think,
later,
I
10
don't
years
believe they
later.
will right there in that spot.
We're gonna
no.
spend $1 million to clean it up and tear it down.
No.
But a quick phone call probably would be in order just to
Hey, Wayne, you
make
may have
them
said
aware
this,
of it.
what's in the current building?
We have 2 pumpers or engines and an ambulance.
Okay.
The ambulance is not ours, the ambulance is EMS. We share it with the current building with EMS.
I mean, that's the only thing I wanna make sure of. 'Cause I
Yeah, and
know,
I understand
you
that,
know,
yeah.
5 years from now, they come back
Sure.
and say, hey, guys, you know, y'all
Yeah.
built this.
Gotta tear down the building, yeah.
Yeah, and we gotta clean
Yeah.
it up, and it's, you know, $1 million, and
We have to reclaim from the building?
So if I understand what the question and answer was, and the pictures we're looking at, with the non-color, but just black and white, the lighter color is where the actual landfill
Yes,
is.
sir.
The other is landfill property, but there's no landfill under there.
Buffer area around the landfill,
At all.
yes, sir.
Now, I notice a utility, is that a utility pole right there?
Actually, there's
Is that what that is? Are there utilities running through here?
there is.
Off of the road?
Down,
Yes, sir.
down Blackie Bandy Road, yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
CEMC.
What offset do we have there, setback from the road?
Oh,
The county's not going to say that's too close or anything like that, are they? Because it is closer than the
building
other.
here, no.
No, it's far enough. I don't know exactly. The county engineer is the one that's done the drawing. and-
Okay.
and the county would have to approve that anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's probably 30, 40, 50 feet from the road.
Yeah, 40 feet from right of way should be set back.
Yeah.
And actually, the property that the existing fire station is owned, and this communications tower that's back here now is property we owned in the past as part of what we had up there for the landfill that they built that on originally several years ago. It's been up there for a pretty good while now.
It's been up here a while, I'm
Yeah,
not exactly sure how long, but,
yeah.
Do you feel good that this is large enough, this is all you need?
yes, sir.
I guess somehow or the other, we would have to get that surveyed out, I guess, to know exactly how do we need to do that, I guess? 'Cause-
Well, if you're going, I mean, if you're gonna convey, that to the fire department, then obviously you would need a survey, a description, and a quitclaim deed.
Okay,
It'll be conveyed to the county.
Okay,
The fire department, we don't own the current
Okay.
building, and we won't own this building either. It'll be a county building,
okay.
and it's built under with county money. So it's within the county, not to the
So
nonprofits.
you're telling us we get to convey a liability to the county?
Correct. Yeah.
Can we convey the whole landfill?
Okay. Y'all gonna check on that though, or something?
yeah, we'll,
He kinda bring that back to us?
we'll check with TDEC and.
Yeah.
I mean, they're under a pretty tight time crunch. We were hoping to get this done at our last meeting. Of course,
Okay.
we weren't able to
Does
meet.
anybody wanna make a motion based
I'll
on?
make a motion.
Based on, what TDEC says?
I'll make a motion, we allow them to, build on the property, convey it to the state county if necessary,
Based on,
based on what TDEC says.
is there a second?
Second.
All right, and you got discussion, you wanna say anything, or you just raise your hand?
That's with the T-Deck and get it plotted, right?
Yeah, we'll need to do that as well.
In the estimates for the building, the marshal has in there for surveying and all.
Okay.
So we'll
Okay.
get a good survey description of the
Okay,
property.
if we can get that, then.
Yeah, get it to me
All
now.
right,
After I get
any
this
other
done.
discussion?
Yeah, get the other.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed, motion carries. All right, last item.
Thank you.
Both of them.
New officer elections for next year. Let's see,
What are the rules on that?
chairman,
Since,
it can only be an elected,
right, I think you probably need to wait till we have a full
that's what I was wondering.
board,
So let's do that next month?
Next month.
yeah.
Let's do it.
You'll
All
need me
right.
a motion to.
Do we defer it till next month?
Defer,
Do
yeah.
I hear a motion?
You hear it?
I got it. Is there a second? All right, there's a second, Mr. Clary. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
I oppose, motion carries. We'll defer it till next month. Anything else? Anybody, anything
Just a
else?
couple more quick things. We got the approval letter from TDEC on our annual progress report that we submitted for calendar year 2021 this past week. That we do the first part of the year every year. And then there's a flyer in there for the household hazardous waste collection event. It's going to be October the 29th, Kentucky game day, from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Moss Wright Park in Goodlettsville.
The game's not till 7.
It's a night game.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
it's gonna be cold, you know it is, it always
It's 7
is,
Eastern.
Kentucky.
Yeah,
Okay, is that it?
that's all I've got.
Anything else? I hear a motion?
Motion.
Motion to adjourn, second.
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
It wasn't cold up there Saturday. Saturday afternoon.
I think
Did you see him on the golf course?
So I watched the second half, and when the fumble happened, I was like, oh, this is just gonna crush him.
Oh, it
Hanging
went,
around.
And then I looked and then I looked back and like, dude caught for his fourth touchdown.
I told what,